Hello, my name is Dani. Welcome back to my channel, Current Chapter, and today I am here to do the mid-year book freakout tag. So let's talk about books. I will leave the link in the description for the original tag, so be sure to check that out. This is a super fun tag that I'm so excited to be able to do it this year already, and it's all about everything we read up until this point of the year. So let's start. The first question is, the best book you've read so far in 2019? I don't think this will be a surprise at all, but my favorite book of the year so far is definitely Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. This is a middle grade fantasy and it's the most fun I've had reading a book the whole year. I laughed so much. I enjoyed this book in a whole nother level. I had so much fun. I have a review of this book, so you can check that if you want to know more about it. And I really recommend you pick this up if you like nonsense, humor, and just amazing, fun, funny middle grade novels. The second question is the best sequel you read so far. So I haven't read a lot of sequels, really. The only ones I read were the ones from A Series of Unfortunate Events. And that's a shame because I've read a lot of first books and in series and I haven't read the sequels. But from A Series of Unfortunate Events, my favorite book so far was The Austere Academy, which was the last one I read. It's the fifth one, if I'm not mistaken. And it was just so funny. I love the new characters. I love the way the story developed, and it was a really cool sequel. Next one is a new release you haven't read yet but want to. So looking at the new releases from the first half of the year that I haven't read yet, I really want to read a lot of thrillers that have come out this year already. So The Hiding Place by C.J. Tudor, I really want to read that because I read The Chalkman and I really enjoyed it. I also really want to read Inspection by Josh Malerman. It's also an author that I've read before and I really enjoyed. And I also had The Silent Patient in this list, but I literally just picked up the audiobook today, this morning, so I'm fixing that one already. Fourth question is the most anticipated release for the second half of the year. With no doubt at all, my most anticipated release is The Toll by Neil Shusterman. This is a book that I am going to pre-order. I am going to read as soon as it arrives in my door because I really need it so much, and I am going to reread Scythe and Thunderhead soon because I don't remember everything about them, and I can't wait for The Toll. Fifth question is biggest disappointment of the year so far. There are two books that I think were the biggest disappointment. The Hazelwood was a disappointment, but I don't know if it was the biggest one because I heard a lot of bad reviews about it, so I guess I knew a little bit that there was a possibility I wouldn't enjoy it as much. But really the hugest disappointment of the year for me was Children of Blood and Bone. It was the first book I read this year, the first physical book at least, and I was anticipating it so much. I heard so many amazing things about it and it was a huge disappointment. I didn't enjoy the pacing of the story. I didn't like the characters. I hated the romance. Overall, I just was very disappointed in it. I was expecting so much of it and it didn't deliver. For biggest surprise of the year, which is question number 6, I of course have to say Crown of Feathers by Nikki Palperto. This is a book that I thought I was going to enjoy. I was already thinking it was going to be an okay book. I thought it was going to be a fun fantasy. But it surprised me so much because I love this story. I love these characters. I love this world. There's so much world that I want to read 10 books about it. And this was a really big surprise. I loved it a lot. Question number 7 is favorite author, debut, or new to me. And I looked at all the books I read this year and there's one author that I read 2 very different books that I had never read from him before. And that is Sylvain Novelle. I read Sleeping Giants from him, and I also read The Test, which is a real short story, and I loved both. They were so much fun, and I really will read anything he writes. I already have a second one from the Themis Files on my shelf. As I said, I haven't been great at reading sequels this year, but I'll try to fix that. But yeah, I will read anything he writes. Next is newest fictional crush, and I couldn't think of any. I don't know if I read books that will make me find crushes. I read a lot of thrillers, so no crushes there. None from fantasies. I don't know. I just don't have any fictional crushes. Question number 9 is newest favorite character. And I wanted to pick one from Crown of Feathers because, as I said, the characters in this book surprised me a lot. And my favorite character in this book is a very secondary character. She's not in the book for a long time, but her name is Sparrow, and she kind of gave me a little bit of Luna Lovegood vibes, who I love. So, of course, I love this character. As I said, her name is Sparrow, and she has a sparrow, which just made me happy. Uh, and she's just full of life and so helpful and so compassionate and so curious. And I just love her so much. And I do know she's going to be in the second book more, so I'm really excited about it. Question number 10 is a book that made me cry. I don't think I cried in any of the books I read this year yet. One book that I almost cried, but the only reason I didn't was because my cat was being crazy around the house and I couldn't focus only on the book. But if it wasn't for that, I was going to be crying so much. Was A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. This book was amazing. I gave it 5 stars. I loved it so much, but it's so sad. This is the saddest book I read. It didn't make me cry, but it's sad. Really, really sad. But I love it. And the last question is a book that made me happy. I wanted to say Nevermore again, just because it was the book that made me the happiest this year. It was one that I laughed a lot because I love the humor in this book. Series of Unfortunate Events also makes me laugh a lot because of the way he tells the story. But the one I picked, which also has a similar sense of humor, is Good Omens by Tara Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. I read it recently, just finished it in June 1st. And this is so funny. I laughed a lot. I love their humor. I love this British nonsense humor. And it was just really amazing. The TV show is awesome. You should watch that. I mean, read the book. It's also great, but I think the TV show is better. But it did make me happy. I laughed a lot. Did I say the other one was the last one? It was not the last one. There are 2 more. So next question is the most beautiful book you bought or received this year so far. The most beautiful books I bought this year were Six of Crows duology in this gorgeous with sprayed edges edition. One is all black, one is all red, and it's just gorgeous, and I love them a lot. I read Six of Crows already, didn't absolutely love it, but they are the most beautiful books I have in my bookshelf right now. And the last question is what books you still need to read by the end of the year. One book that I really want to read by the end of the year because I had it for way too long already, and I read some of it, but I will have to start from the beginning again. But that's House of Leaves by Marcy Danielewski. It's a really huge book, and it seems really amazing. It's just very intimidating because the way it's written, and it's kind of a story within a story within a story. I've already talked about this book here, and I really hope I can read it by the end of the year because I had it for 5 years now, I think. So yeah, I have to do that. Other than that, a goal that I have by the end of the year is to read a book in French because I'm learning French now and I need to practice, and why not just squeeze a few French books in my TBR so I can practice a little bit. And I will probably start with Harry Potter because I already read it enough to know everything that's written in it, so I will be able to follow the story better. If you have any more recommendations of French books for me to read, my vocabulary is still very limited, so I need something easy, but I'm very eager to start reading in French also. And that's it for the mid-year book freak out tag. This was a very fun tag to do. I'm really excited about it. Let me know what would be your answers for these questions if you have done this tag. Also, let me know. I would love to check that out. I've been watching everyone's tags for the past week or so, and it's a lot of fun because it's short and you learn a lot about what the person read for half of a year. Remember to like and subscribe and comment. Click the bell icon to get notifications whenever I post new videos. Right after this video, I'm going to film a really fun July TBR video, so be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss that, because I'm really excited about it. It's going to be really cool, hopefully, I think. And I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for joining me today. Bye!